Hello angel babies, welcome or welcome back. My name is Trisha and this is Trisha's Temple. Today the reading is based on this card that I got at a party a few days ago. And the well has been a symbol that's been important to me for a long time on my own healing journey, and just as a symbol of storytelling and connection to personal spirituality. So I wanted to base this reading on that idea of connecting to your inner source, to whatever it is that feels like something divine or inspired, as it says on here, the source of life that we're all connected to. I just saw 111 as I said that. So I've written out some questions, and I'm going to start with this part 1, which is approaching the well. What does your well look like and feel like right now? Is it deep? Is it covered? Is it overflowing? Is it quiet? Is it guarded? How does it look and feel right now? It's kind of your vibe check. You can kind of just tune into that part of you. Maybe you are someone who is newer to tuning into that part of yourself, or at least being aware that you're tuning into that part of yourself, because I think that we're always connected to it. It's just a matter of kind of like giving awareness or acknowledging that we're doing it. All right, we have the 7 and 8 of Wands. I just got this deck and I was going through the cards last night, and I feel like this 7 of Wands, it gives this feeling of like being in a vineyard or some sort of, I mean, I guess it's a little rocky, but being somebody who's working with trees and trying to get your harvest or the field to work in your favor, and it's just not going so well. But you are somebody who has been dedicated and vigilant. Interesting word. So I think that you're your well right now might feel a little bit more guarded, like you've been in a little bit more of that like fight or flight, survival, working really hard, like put your head down and grind mode. Like even right now I'm feeling a little bit more like sluggish or heavy, weighed down. But the 8 of Wands is about speed and higher energy, moving things in the direction that you want them to go. All of your wands are pointing in the same direction. All of your energy is flowing together instead of feeling like you're being pulled in multiple directions, feeling really resistant. So maybe you're in a little bit of a transition phase where you will, like, at some moments feel like things are going in the right direction and you're like, yes, like this feels really good. And then you have these moments where it feels like you're experiencing more of that resistance again. And it's a little bit of that like teeter-totter type feeling, or just like back and forth energy to get to where things are in that consistent flow. You're still finding things within your well, within your lived reality, and in your internal world that you are like duking it out with, or don't feel quite so harmonious and aligned and balanced with. Yeah, I think that you are moving towards that more overflowing, abundant state, but it's feeling a little bit like there might be some things resisting still, and that's totally fine. I feel like that's kind of a universal challenge where we will go through cycles of moments where things feel really good and in flow, and then we'll get sick, or we will have like a weird interaction at the store or something that triggers us. Okay, the next question. Your next question. How do you usually approach your inner world? Are you like really gentle and cautious, or are you more like interrogating yourself, policing yourself? Are you really rigid? Or are you kind of like a reverent, meditative type of a person? Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like you're somebody who would approach your inner world in actually like quite a grounded way. You aren't super like, it's giving Capricorn. Actually, it's giving, I haven't like learned all of the astrology associated with each of the cards. That just like hasn't felt like I haven't been called to do that yet. I think I will at some point, but it's giving me the feeling of someone who actually knows a lot about themselves. You know a lot about yourself and what you value, what works for you and what doesn't. You may have specific rituals or things to do to access your inner world. Maybe those have shifted throughout the years, but like you always end up finding like what grounds you, what keeps you connected to yourself. And like even if you were to move or change relationships or like whatever changes that you go through, you are always able to like come back home to center. I think that you are somebody who is able to connect to yourself. You might be a bit more pragmatic or logical. At times, but you're also like pretty warm and nurturing. This is like the mothering type of card. Okay, the next chapter of this story is the history of your well. So what history lives in your well? The stories, the traditions, the cultural threads, the childhood memories that want to come out and share something with you right now. Okay, we have Strength and the Hermit. Okay. Wow. I think that you have spent a lot of time in solitude taking care of yourself and kind of like holding your burdens, your strength, being strong for yourself and for other people, being responsible for yourself and for other people, even things that were not your responsibility to begin with. I think that you're somebody who is very empathetic and compassionate, that maybe you don't always give the same level of compassion and consideration to yourself that you give to others. And you may like spend times where you're like out around other people socializing, but you need that solitude to almost like, I don't think detox is quite the right word, because it doesn't even necessarily need to be toxic energy, but just like to recalibrate and come back to center, come back to yourself and the like very warm, nurturing self, and be able to fill your own cup and connect to your own center. I'm just repeating myself. Now I'm hearing My boy only breaks his favorite toys. Is that the title of the song? From Taylor Swift, Tortured Poets Department. So I think that you may have you guys, so from the movie Maid of Honor, I'm hearing a lot of references right now. In the movie Maid of Honor, they go to Scotland. Maybe Scotland is significant, and they're all eating dinner, and there's one of the like, I don't know, one of their relatives. She's like, name them Athel. We have a long line of Athels. And the like two leads, it's like Patrick Dempsey and I can't remember what the actress's name is. They look at each other and they just like are like trying so hard not to crack up. I think that you are someone who not only may you be from a long line of Athels, there may also be a lot of very sweet and generous and empathetic people as well who have been overgivers and raised you to be such. But you have a way of turning your story into magic. You're like a true alchemist. Yeah. All right. The next question is, what has been poured into your well, intentionally or unintentionally? And this could be like something that you have poured into your own well or has come from other people. And it's just like the beliefs, the hopes, the fears, the narratives that get kind of just looping around in there, in your inner world, your well. All right, keep getting pairs of cards. You have the Six of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. Ooh. Okay, what I'm hearing is that the story is that one of the beliefs is perhaps that you have to work very hard. It's like almost like indentured servitude type vibes. And now I'm seeing Sophie Beck, if you've seen the latest season of Bridgerton, or like Cinderella. That you feel like you are not going to be worthy of being seen and heard, and like that you can't have your flowers, you can't have the recognition for the things that you have done unless you are like working at a certain level. So that could look like working a certain number of hours or getting a certain degree, like accomplishing something in particular, like setting these certain mile markers for yourself. And then until you do that, you aren't worthy of this recognition. And like the behind the scenes stuff that you've been doing all along the way that has been like your hermit energy, your strength energy. You have been toiling away, doing a lot of stuff that a lot of people would have like given up by now, would have just been like, I don't care enough to try. But you have been working way harder and like not giving up, moving towards various things in your life, various dreams. And I think that you might have a belief, or there might be a narrative that has been handed down to you through your line around, I'm not actually allowed to receive recognition for the things that I do. I'm not allowed to be successful, or success might be dangerous. I want to like dig into that a little bit more and just ask what does that part of you, that story, need right now? I just saw 2020. Maybe 2020 was an important year around this storyline. That was a lot of cards. I'm gonna take this one that's face up. Ooh, this one. Six of Swords and the Ace of Cups. I think that what this storyline needs right now is, this actually reminds me of, like, even in movies like the Titanic, when they're like, all the women and children can get into the like boats. What are those boats called? Like the extra boats for the crash? Safety boats? I don't think that's lifeboats. There it is. The lifeboat. That I think that maybe you have been holding on to, you've been staying on the sinking ship. And it's okay for you to get into the lifeboat. So that could be something like as simple as there's a project that you were working on and it was just, like, sucking the life out of you, like really draining you and not actually fulfilling you, not actually moving you towards what you wanted. And it's okay for you to just be like, no, actually, I don't want that. That's not fulfilling me. It's okay for me to change my mind. I'm going to leave that behind and move towards something else. But it's also okay for me to grieve that. And that this emotional fulfillment gift, I'm allowed to have the things that fulfill me emotionally, that do fill my cup. So maybe there's something that has been your sinking ship, like it could be something bigger, like a relationship or work or something like that. And you don't have to make any grand declarations or big moves all at once, but even just acknowledging that can be a huge relief to you, to your system, to your inner world. Like, oh, I see you. I understand. We don't have to do anything right now, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. Treating your inner world like a little family. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to another deck for the rest of this reading. We're gonna look at tools to access. I was about to lose all those. Tools to access your inner world. These could be things that you are already doing or things that could be really fulfilling for you. What are the most natural things for you? What really does fill your cup? What is your Ace of Cups gift to yourself? While I was preparing for this reading, I was thinking about this guy. I think his name is like Abraham Gardner or something Gardner, and he talks about the languages of intelligence and how some people learn best through moving their body, some people learn best through like auditory processing, some people learn best through visual things, some people are really good with interpersonal communication, others through like accessing their inner world, etc., etc. And it reminds me of that picture where there's like a tree and then there are all these different animals and they're trying to grade the animals based on how well they can climb the tree. You have a fish in a fishbowl and a monkey and an elephant and like all of these different animals lined up, and it's like, well, of course, like the monkey is going to probably do the best at climbing this tree, the fish is going to fail. And maybe you've been grading yourself on how well you can climb the tree when really like you're a swimmer. So, wow, this one is wanting to come out. Okay, Ace of Visions. Beautiful swan. I'm gonna look up and see which one. Read all about it. Was that like from Newsies or something? Here we go. The enchanted ally for visions is the swan. Renowned for their grace and beauty, swans are also powerfully strong, fierce, and faithful in love. They mate for life in marriages that may last 20 years. Swans are emotional and expressive creatures, calling out in triumph when they roust an enemy, emitting one last lament as they leave this life. The swan says, "A dream is a wish your heart makes." The swan's gift to you is a tiny enchanted pool in a secluded glade. When the water is still, it becomes a magic mirror. All that you desire is reflected here, and most importantly, so is your own true self. You have nothing to fear from this. Your swan knows that your true self is noble, pure, and beautiful. Meaning at a glance: serenity, compassion, spirituality, kindness, a new way of seeing, a gift of love. Water element. Do you see the irises reflected in the water? Irises symbolize the connection between heaven and earth. I think that one way that you might access your inner world most naturally might actually be through water, like we were discussing. Maybe you are somebody who enjoys scrying into water. Maybe you enjoy baths, showers, swimming, anything like water sports, anything water related, and that while you're out on the water you connect very deeply with yourself, and it's also like a cleansing ritual for you. Let's look at one or two more for that. Perfect, got two more. Seven of Boons. And the Seven of Spells. Oh, the Seven of Boons. This is making me think that you are somebody who has a lot of different ways that you access your inner world, and that you've cultivated a deep relationship with yourself. Maybe you don't even recognize this about yourself, but that you've created a sense of spirituality. Maybe you just haven't named it that yet. That, just like I was saying, like that water sports, maybe somebody wouldn't be like, oh yeah, like you skiing or you wakeboarding or tubing, like they wouldn't be like, oh, that's so spiritual. But you are somebody who is starting to see that all of the little things that you do on a daily basis and just like light you up and enjoy are truly spiritual, because they connect you to yourself. That you have many doors available to meet yourself more deeply. And I think that you're finding more and more as you go throughout your life. Like maybe there was a time in your life when you really enjoyed dolls when you were little, or now, and then you had another period of life where you were really into rocks or crystals, and another period of your life where you're really into hiking or some other outdoor activity. And there are so many other things that you could be drawn to that would kind of bring you that sense of inner transcendence. Then this Seven of Spells is actually making me think of like fighting your inner demons. But that you have turned it into a magical experience. That maybe in the past you felt a sense of frustration or anger when you would get triggered by something, or you just like wouldn't understand why something was hard for you that wasn't for somebody else, or like it was still hard for you even though you've been working on it for a while or something. And I think that you have gained a lot more patience and compassion for those inner parts of yourself, and have found a way to almost like incorporate them into your lore and the story that you tell about your journey, your life. That you're like, oh, well, my story wouldn't be very interesting if I was just like amazing at everything and didn't have to try. There's this random person that just showed up here, which has never happened before, and just parked and has a couple dogs. So okay, next question is, which tools or practices feel like home and not discipline? Okay. We've got the Two of Visions. I think that one of the things that feels like home to you is personal, deep conversations. Connecting with people on like a very heart-to-heart level. that you may really not like small talk, you may not like, just like superficial conversations. It might be uncomfortable to you, but when you're able to really find those people that resonate with you and connect with them deeply, it's a mirror for you, and you feel even more connected to yourself as well. And that's one of the places where you feel most at home within yourself. And that you may also find ways to do that with yourself, like that kind of interpersonal conversation. So maybe through journaling, or maybe you've been trying to find more ways. Maybe you already are, or are wanting to start your own channel or share your voice online. Okay, the next section is living from the well. So how does your life change when you live from the well instead of searching outside yourself? I think that it's very normal in the beginning of our life, or like just in general, to search outside of ourselves, to outsource our power, because it's kind of the way that everything is set up. Is like, oh, you don't know yourself, I know you, and I'll tell you what you need. But I think that you are on the path to realizing that you know yourself best, you know what you need, and like, yeah, you can use things outside of you to be like a sense of confirmation and clarity and comfort, but at the end of the day, like, you are the expert in your life. Okay, the fairy wind. That's beautiful. I want to read what this one says. Okay, this one might be at the front, actually. So this one's number 7, so I think that's replacing the chariot. The quiet mood of the forest shifts, subtly at first, and then with increasing tension, like the breathless hush before a storm. You hear a rushing sound in the distance, growing louder as it approaches. It is the sound of treetops dancing in a wind that comes closer and closer until it is upon you, lifting your hair and cooling your cheeks. You are surrounded by a sudden fragrance of bluebells and moss and honey. This is no ordinary breeze. It betokens the wild flight of the fae. They flash into your view, imperious, haughty, beautiful beyond words. Your heart yearns after them with a sharp urgency to go where they go and see what they can see. But never attempt to chase them. Trust me, it will not turn out well. The fairies follow their own path, and you must follow yours. Okay, this could not be any more perfect. The fairy wind is a powerful sight of ultimate success. Only the most fortunate see the fae. Though many have felt their passing, things will pick up speed for you now, and your endeavors will flow swiftly toward a positive outcome. Continue forward with increased confidence. Meaning at a glance: speed, change, important news, success, self-governance, independent achievement. A closer look. Legends tell of people who were swept up by the fairy wind and deposited miles away. If this happens to you, don't be in a rush to return. So I think that what is going to happen to you, what has already begun, is that you are seeing the magic in life again. That when you were a child, you had a way of seeing the magic, and you're reconnecting to that. that when you are connected to that inner source, that inner well, you will feel more carried, more held, more in that state of flow and abundance. Yeah. That was magical. Lots of magical moments. That's what you will experience. What wants to be expressed, shared, or lived from this place? So, as you are more connected to yourself, to your inner world, what is it that wants to be expressed? Okay. The Eight of Spells. The Eight of Wands, which is a repeat actually. This is part of why I like doing multiple decks, is because we can get repeats. And that is what we were talking about, moving from the Seven of Wands to the Eight of Wands, that there's going to be less resistance for you. Hello, where are you? So this is the Seven of Wands, and this is the Eight of Wands. These are the eights. See, I love the different interpretations. So fun. But all of your wands are moving in the same direction. That's what you're going to experience. And what wants to be expressed through that is honesty. That's the word that's coming. It's like wings are open. You are open. You are creating from your truth, from your magic, and trusting yourself, trusting where the flow is taking you, where the fairy wind is taking you. There's the fairy wind. Come back, please. Yeah. That was a nice reading. I never quite know where things are gonna go, but it always ends up magical. See? Thank you for being here. It was nice doing this for you and for me. If you are interested in a personal reading, holy shit, that's a lot of birds, then I would love to do one for you. Support you on your individual journey, help you connect to your inner well. Love you.